Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy, Golden Falls, Golden What Ifs, whatever you want to call me, and I am back. Sorry if it sounds like I'm laughing a little bit. That's mostly because I straight up forgot my intro when trying to do this video. I cut it out. It's probably not in this video, but still, I just wanted to bring that up real quick. This is What If Tanjiro Was a Bloodbender. I recently, did something similar to this, where I think I did blood breathing. This is him being a blood bender. And if you guys enjoy, please show some love. Leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. And yeah, that's really all I gotta say. Check the links in the description for the Discord, the Spotify, and also the membership if you want to check that out as well. Now, yeah, that's all I gotta say. I hope you guys enjoyed, and let's get right into it. Let's get it. Tanjiro Kamado, he would be raised in this world very similar to normal. But one thing he has noticed is kind of this odd feeling he gets around blood. Yes, his sense of smell. Yes, he has all that stuff involving blood. But there's something odd. Something going on and something happening to his body. And on top of that, to others when he begins sensing it. He senses it around family. He senses it around other people that he's around in general. And he can feel like the blood that is pumping through their veins. He doesn't know exactly what it's all about and what's going on, but the first time he truly gets the feeling of it is when he goes to see that his family has perished. He tries to save his sister, and he would basically have his sister get attacked by Giyu Tomioka. And in this situation, well, this is when he would realize, when he would try to strike Giyu down, he would feel the blood within Giyu and try his absolute hardest to stop him in his tracks. And that's exactly what he would try to do, slowing down Giyu so that the axe would hit him. But in doing so, let's just say this is when things start, like, he starts realizing, like, holy, what is going on? Like, how did this happen? And how did that kid just do that? He made it so that, or Giyu realizes that he just made it so he can't move at all. And that would shock Tanjiro, or shock Giyu, excuse me. And Tanjiro would also somewhat be shocked about being able to do such a thing. But really, in all reality, Tanjiro is probably more shocked than Giyu. Because Tanjiro's like, I didn't even know I could do that, right? Like, I've had this, little bit, this, kind of little bits of ability to utilize certain things, but the fact that he's able to do this now, or the fact that he's shown that he can do this, shocks him entirely. Like, he's like at a loss for words, like entirely about him being able to actually do something like this. Now, him being able to do something like this, though, does kind of open up some possibilities. But in all reality, everything from here to, like, all the way to him training with Urokodaki goes very similar. The only thing that changes is the Temple Demon fight. Because I can see Tanjiro kind of last-ditch effort utilizing his bloodbending to kind of, or his blood bending, to kind of slow down the demon and slow down the Temple Demon and kind of stop him in his tracks. And that right there is like the only thing you would really see overall with Tanjiro utilizing this blood bending powers earlier on, or like early on in this time, or in this kind of moment. Now, after that is all said and done, he would go through his training with the one and only Urokodaki. He would prepare, he would start doing this, he would start doing that, and he would be training overall. But Urokodaki would also bring up the fact that he should try to train and learn more to do with his bloodbending. And really, there's not much for him to do in terms of actually utilizing it right now. But at the same time, he tells him that he should really try to focus on it. Just feel the blood that's pumping through his own veins and feel things around him. Don't use the blood bending, right? Don't use anything. Feel the blood within Nezuko, within Urokodaki, within anybody he ever sees. Try to just get an understanding of what's happening. And with those words, Tanjiro would take those very seriously, as he would basically progress through the entirety of the training with Sabito and Makomo, and eventually going to the final selection. Now, the final selection is when he finally gets usage out of this, because when he sees other demon slayers in trouble, he would start utilizing the demons themselves as test subjects. Now it sounds kind of morbid and sounds kind of messed up, but that is exactly what he ends up doing, utilizing kind of the demons all around as a way of understanding what he can do. And that's exactly what he starts doing. He starts basically utilizing his own abilities to kind of overwhelm and figure things out, and overall just try to figure out various different things in terms of actually utilizing his blood bending techniques and his ability overall. And having this entire area filled up, having all this stuff going on, is kind of like the perfect thing for Tanjiro, because it gives him the opportunity to figure out what he truly can do. And this gives him that opportunity. And yes, the fight with like the hand demon and all this stuff, all these other demons, goes very similar, but it goes drastically better really because of his ability to utilize blood bending, and saving a lot of these other demon slayers as well, giving them openings to strike down various demons that they would have no chance at actually defending against. And in terms of the hand demon, Tanjiro actually defeats him in a different way. The way Tanjiro defeats him is through pure anger. Like, he is so mad at hearing what this hand demon has to say about, ending the people of Urokodaki, or like the students of Urokodaki, and they are pissed. Like, he's pissed. And he hears this, and he basically boils the blood within the demon till he just pops. And in doing so, this makes it so he literally gets defeated like this. He would go and disappear and disintegrate just like normal, and he wouldn't even need to get his head chopped off. And Tanjiro feels this, and he kind of is like, oh, well, that was good. Like, I was able to defeat him, but it made me feel like different. It made his own body, like the veins within his body, feel hotter, feel like they were boiling themselves as well. But that's kind of what he did to him as well, or did to the other demon. What he did to the demon is he boiled the demon's blood basically and destroyed him from the inside out. And in doing so, it had an effect on Tanjiro as well, realizing that he can't just do that for every demon he runs into. And frankly, it's making him feel like disgusting. It makes him feel like a messed up person for even doing it, even though, let's be honest, he did it out of necessity. He made sure that, look, I had to do something. I had to make sure that this thing, crashed and burned. I had to make sure that this demon was defeated, and that's what he did. He made sure that the demon was defeated, but at the same time, I mean, he feels kind of like, damn, like that just felt wrong. That felt wrong, and that right there made him really, really kind of make himself like, damn, I don't know. Like, that makes me really, really suspect about what I'm doing, and it makes me question the amount I should be utilizing blood bending, and it makes him feel different, especially when it comes to a full moon, which we'll get to that eventually. But right now, he's kind of he's utilizing it to a certain extent, but he decides to stay away from utilizing it the way he just did against the hand demon. Now, after that, after getting his Nichiren ore and all that stuff, after completing the final selection, he would head back with Urokodaki, and it would allow him to kind of continue on with what he wants to get through. And Urokodaki, well, he would tell him to basically stick to his own morals, stick to everything that he believes to be better and greater, and that he has a great moral compass, and to not die, right? He tells him, make sure to stand for your sister, make sure to protect her, and make sure that eventually that you cure her, and that they'll be looking out for him as much as possible. And Tanjiro would get his chance to go head to head with a demon himself when he faces off with the swamp demon not too long after this situation. And this fight, well, it's not that it's a tough one for Tanjiro, not that it's a super difficult one by any means, but it's a fight that he wasn't necessarily expecting or believing that he would be fully ready for. But Tanjiro, I mean, he shows the level of skill he has as a swordsman, but he kind of goes back and forth with the idea of actually utilizing bloodbending itself. It makes him feel kind of off, but he does understand that he can't just not utilize it. Like, that's stupid. Like, he can't just not utilize a gift that was given to him, so he uses it at a mild manner to give him an opening against this demon, allowing him to slice through its neck, slowing the demon down enough to where he's able to get that opening and defeat him. And after that demon is slayed, and after this village is, rid of the demon that's been taking women, he would then head off to the next place, which would be the city that never sleeps, having an encounter with Muzan. And this is when things in his own mind starts really messing with him, because he's thinking to himself that he has him right here. He could feel it, the blood pumping through Muzan, and he could feel the multiple hearts that Muzan has. He can feel them, and he starts really focusing on the blood of Muzan, and he wants to do something that, frankly, he personally will never regret. He wants to blow him up. He wants to pop him, make his blood boil to the point where things are gone. But he realizes that this right here, the moment that he wants, is not going to happen the way he believes it can. Because at the end of the day, if he does this, if he decides to do exactly what he wants to do, things will go haywire, things will collapse, and things will go really bad really fast, because Muzan, well, he could kill so many here, and that's the last thing Tanjiro wants, allowing Muzan to leave without, creating a bigger scene. And he would allow him to leave, and then he would eventually have to fight Susumaru and Yahaba as he, right after talking to Yushiro and Lere Tamayao. Now, that fight is something that Tanjiro is just absolutely unrelenting in this fight. Like, he is getting rid of all his anger against the two of them. And yes, it's a somewhat difficult one, but Tanjiro holds nothing back. He even enhances himself, as he would make his own blood make things like, quicker and better, and make him kind of stronger. Same way the breathing styles would make him more powerful. He's kind of doing that with blood bending and his own power and his own skill. So he immediately would crash into these these demons and defeat them pretty swiftly. Like, it wouldn't be too much of an insane fight or something crazy. He would defeat them, and you would watch them get absolutely obliterated in what they believe is a fight they can win, but it's not. It's a fight they are playing a losing game here, and eventually Yushiro, Lere Tamayao, Tanjiro, and Nezuko would team up and defeat the two of them, and Tanjiro would find openings to do so. And Lere Tamayao, well, she would bring up the fact that his bloodbending, his ability as a quote-unquote bloodbender, could help them greatly, could help so many greatly, even as much as maybe helping with kind of saving his sister, right? It could be a part of saving his sister, or even curing other demons and stuff along those lines. And Tanjiro agrees. He thinks, yeah, he can, but it makes him uneasy. The way the bloodbending makes him feel, it makes him uneasy. And frankly, he'll feel that uneasiness the more he progresses, because yes, he would progress to take on Kyogai within the mansion, and this fight, yeah, would go very similar, if not the same, but Tanjiro would feel the bloodbending getting to him little by little, even to the point where he's able to fully halt Kyogai in his shoes, basically stop him from moving entirely, and would absolutely obliterate him. I mean, Tanjiro would go in and absolutely destroy Kyogai, running in and just slicing through his neck, and just like that, it would be over for the former member of the 12 Kizuki, and it would be over for Kyogai in a matter of just a split second. And that right there makes, well, a lot of sense for Tanjiro, and makes himself kind of question like what he's doing, what's going on. And frankly, Tanjiro's thinking to himself like, yeah, this went well. This went fantastic. I defeated him. But the more and more he utilizes his bloodbending, the more and more he feels this sensation, or this sensation specifically, that makes him feel even more hungrier, like just more hungry for like blood, and more hungry for like just destroying and obliterating things. And he feels like the bloodbending is making him a worse person. I mean, not in the way of like he's not doing the right thing, but making him angrier, making him more snippy and snapping to the point. And you see this when he faces off with Inosuke. When Inosuke tries to fight him one-on-one, Tanjiro, all the thoughts that he's thinking are like just wants to absolutely hurt Inosuke, but he snaps his way out of it and snaps like the idea away. But at the end of the day, those thoughts, those desires might just creep back in when things are pushed and risen to its highest degree. And when they head off to Mount Natagumo eventually, Tanjiro would feel those urges when he sees all of those demon slayers being controlled, and then eventually they would be ended and executed. And Tanjiro's feelings about it would make him absolutely pissed. I mean, he would look at this and think, I can't believe it. Like, I can't believe that this is what happened, that they did this, and he wants to make these demons suffer. That is legitimately what he's thinking, and he's thinking to himself that he refuses to allow this to continue, and refuses to allow them to just do exactly what they just did, hurting people when they don't need to be hurt. And frankly, those demon slayers that were all caught up and stuff like that, they were just victims basically. And Tanjiro would not give the mother spider demon the same soft ending that she normally got in the original. And frankly, he refuses to let any of these other demons kind of have that soft ending as well. And Inosuke can see it in the eyes of Tanjiro that he's feeling different. That Tanjiro Kamado is feeling a different version of himself right now. And there's a different mindset pumping through his head, and him thinking like, I'm not going to let this happen. I'm not going to just let these demons do whatever they want, walk all over us. And he refuses to let that happen. And after getting smacked away by the father spider demon, I mean, he would look back and he would stop the spider demon and kind of make him a lot weaker, utilizing bloodbending while he's just flying away mid-air, allowing Inosuke to defeat him. But when Tanjiro lands, turns around, and he sees Rui standing there, well, Tanjiro, all he can think about is ending this demon in the worst way possible. And as the moon would be at its peak, and as the moon would be upon him, he would look and he would see it. The full moon is embracing him, and Tanjiro would bolt straight at Rui as a fight would ensue, a fight for the ages. And it seems as if Tanjiro has a hell of an upper hand, and eventually that upper hand would turn into him utilizing the Hinokami Kagura, leading to him actually slicing the neck off of Rui. But then when that happens, he would back up, he would go towards Nezuko, and he would see that Rui is standing back up. Rui would then tie Nezuko up basically with strings up in the tree, and would begin to make her bleed. Tanjiro sees this, and as the blood would drip from the strings, or like, you know, the spider strings type of thing, towards Rui, Nezuko would unlock her blood demon art, awakening a fire, sending it that way. But not only that, Tanjiro begins to bend the blood that is out and about and go put it straight onto Rui, as Rui begins to burn, unable to actually do anything about it, trying to extinguish it himself. But while he tries, Tanjiro grabs him, like literally grabs him with bloodbending, making it so he can no longer move. And Rui screams. Initially, he screams because he's like, "Let me go, you damn idiot," blah, blah, blah. But then he starts screaming for other reasons, screaming out of pain, out of suffering. And Tanjiro tells him that he made the last mistake of his life, a mistake in hurting his little sister. And just like that, Tanjiro boils him and pops him like a balloon. And as he does this, well, let's just say he's defeated, or Rui is defeated here, but Nezuko is kind of even in shock as well. Like, she's like, whoa, that was pretty crazy. I mean, she's kind of, still super loyal to Tanjiro, stuff like that, but she's like, whoa, okay, that's not what I was expecting, or, for things to happen in that way. But at the same time, I mean, that's what happened, right? Obviously, it happened in that way. And at the same time, Tanjiro is kind of like, like, I did what I had to do type of thing. And Tanjiro himself is just obliterated, like just obliterated Rui. And when Giyu would arrive, he'd be like, oh, you defeated him. Like, that's impressive. That's blah, blah, blah. That's this, that's that. And Tanjiro's like, yeah, I did. Were you expecting me not to? In which this is when Giyu's like, whoa, like, of course not. That's not what I was saying at all. And then he asked Tanjiro, like, are you all right? You okay? And Tanjiro just seems upset, angry, almost like his blood is legitimately boiling. And as this is happening, well, let's just say the things that happen after this don't help, because Tanjiro watches as Kanao and Shinobu try to take down Nezuko. And basically Giyu tells them both they need to stop right now. And he looks at Tanjiro, telling him to calm down. Please stay calm. In which Tanjiro would pull out his sword and would even look towards Shinobu and Kanao and tell them that they better listen right now, that they need to stop. Because if they don't, things are going to get really, really messy. And as this is happening, Kanao goes to strike at Nezuko, but would be stopped entirely, unable to move at all. Tanjiro would then begin to make her float in the air, and Giyu would tell him, stop, don't do this, do not do this. They are friendly, in which Tanjiro says that they're not listening. They're not hearing our words, but they sit here and act like they are the ones bringing justice. They don't realize anything. They don't understand anything. In which eventually, though, Giyu would get through to him and he would stop. He'd be like, and he would take a big deep breath and he would pass out, legitimately pass out. He'd wake up in front of all the Hashira, and basically they would bring up the fact that he almost, ended one of their own, in which Tanjiro yells at them and tells them, like, you were the one that basically attacked me, attacked my sister, and I did what I had to do to defend her. In which he tells them again that my sister would have been a victim here. She didn't do anything. She literally was just standing there. She was helping me survive against the demon. And obviously this whole thing goes in a pretty similar direction, and Tanjiro would eventually, be allowed to be a demon slayer or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the main thing for Tanjiro is like, you basically disrespected me and my sister. Like, I don't want anything to do with most of you. And frankly enough, Tanjiro questions himself with wanting to learn more about the Hinokami Kagura, because, well, if he does try to learn more, he's going to have to learn from one of these Hashira. And yes, he questioned himself a little bit about learning stuff about that too, because of who he's going to have to deal with. But luckily enough, he does kind of even out a little bit, right? When he starts training, when he starts, when he got, all this stuff with, or Kodaki and all these people decide, like, oh no, it's okay for him to, for Nezuko and stuff like that. Eventually he would even out a bit, where he wouldn't be as angry, he wouldn't be as upset. And frankly, the usage of bloodbending kind of put him at that. I mean, it made him a lot more upset, a lot more difficult for him to control his anger. And eventually he would feel okay with meeting up with Rengoku and meeting up with him to learn more about sun breathing. And yes, he doesn't get much information off the bat, but he does get experience when taking on various demons, and more specifically, taking on a demon known as Enmu. Because Tanjiro would be put to sleep, would be knocked out for the moment, but Nezuko, like, fortunately enough, would wake him up with her blood demon arts, and he would have no troubles at all defeating Enmu. And yes, he would have the help of Inosuke and would utilize blood breathing a tiny bit, but or blood bending a tiny bit, but he would refuse to like fully like, you know, utilize it in its entirety. But this is where things change drastically, because this would be Tanjiro's first chance to truly utilize blood breathing to its utmost degree. Because after the defeat of Enmu, the train demon, he would basically see as Rengoku and Akaza, the upper three moon, would be going head to head. And a fight like this is something that is all hands on deck. A fight like this is something that Tanjiro needs to help out as much as possible, but Rengoku tells him to not. Stay away. Stay put, and that he will fight him. And they go head to head, back and forth, like two absolute monsters and perfections of their craft. And that's exactly what occurs. But when Rengoku would go for the final blow, look to actually end Akaza, Tanjiro would help him out, as he would stop Akaza in his tracks, giving Rengoku a shot at actually ending the fight in one foul swoop. And this fight, or this kind of swing, wouldn't be enough. It just wouldn't be. And Rengoku would be hurt massively, like terribly, but Tanjiro would try to stop Akaza from leaving, holding him still as long as possible. Rengoku, who's injured, even tries to help out as the sun would slowly but surely rise, and they would try their absolute best to stop him. Even Rengoku planting a sword inside Akaza, but also inside the ground, and Akaza can feel the burning of the sun. And as this happens, Akaza would try to break free, and he would just a little bit, but still unable to move. Akaza would burn, and he would perish. But that's not the only person that is on death's door. It seems that Rengoku, yes, was formidable in this fight, but it seems as if this is a different thing going on. It seems as if Rengoku himself is perishing, but Tanjiro runs over and tells him that he could save him. He could save him right now, but he needs to hear it from Rengoku. Does he want to continue the fight? Does he want to stay here and fight alongside the people he cares about? He needs to hear it from him. And Rengoku would look, and he would see his mother standing there, greeting him. But even his mother knows. She knows that his time, if it's not up, that means it's not up. And he has plenty more to give. And Rengoku tells Tanjiro, please, save me. Please, save me. And that's exactly what he starts doing. He starts to try and save. He starts to try and basically save Rengoku. And he does it. He basically is able to do so. He does everything in his power to save him. Does everything in his power to basically stop the bleeding, give him some of his blood back, make it kind of pump through his body more and more. And eventually, yes, it would legitimately save him. Now, is he in peak condition right now? Definitely not. Rengoku needs tons of time and tons of time with Tanjiro himself to actually survive. And this is proof that Tanjiro's blood bending is the perfect kind of thing to actually help people live and help people survive through crazy manners. And Tanjiro, well, he works with Rengoku while he trains. He works with Rengoku trying to make sure that he's stable more and more and more. And his duties of a demon slayer are kind of put to the side for the moment. When he's not helping Rengoku like maintain stability, he's training. He's working, training on anything you can think of. Like, he is training with bloodbending, he's training with his sword and his breathing style, and he's kind of away from all the stuff in terms of dealing with demon slayers and their missions and stuff like that. But he's more helpful here, just in this specific regard. And he's helping out as much as possible. And luckily enough, Zenitsu and Inosuke, they follow suit with kind of how strong Tanjiro is. So they up their game just like Tanjiro ups his game. And when, well, Tengen and when Tengen, Inosuke, and Zenitsu go to obviously the entertainment district, they are lacking Tanjiro. So this is a big setback, a step back in terms of needing Tanjiro to actually take on this fight. And yes, they come out with some pretty bad injuries, but with the level that all three of them are at, it kind of makes up for the fact that Tanjiro is not there because of, the extra push that Tanjiro gives both Inosuke, Zenitsu, and whatever else, right? But this does put Tengen into retirement, and he basically Tengen basically is barely surviving when they get back to the Hashira mansion, and luckily enough, Tanjiro's able to legitimately save him, because luckily enough, they had a Hashira run there as quick as possible, bring back Tengen, and Tengen is saved by Tanjiro because, well, at this point, Rengoku is nowhere near in a bad condition, or nowhere near what he was in terms of bad condition, and he actually is somewhat okay now and can get back to training and preparing and almost prepared to go back on missions. But Tanjiro is then there to save Tengen, and actually Nezuko herself reveals her ability to actually just heal poison. So even better than Tanjiro, she cleanses him of the poison, and then Tanjiro kind of helps him get back a lot of the blood and helps the blood flow and pump and all this stuff, and allows him to basically take care of Tengen and get them back to peak condition all over again. But the thing is, Tanjiro realizes, at the end of the day, Tengen's not going to want to continue this life because of his wives, and he gets that. And he understands that. And Rengoku, well, eventually he'll be peak condition, and Tanjiro knows that he needs to get back out there to train, prepare, and all this stuff. And the best way for him to do so would be at the Swordsmith's village. And that's exactly what he does. He goes there to train, prepare, work with other Hashira, and even fight against a Yorichi type 0. Now, in all that happening, right, in all that training, he is a lot more prepared. He prepares himself, and he knows a lot about sun breathing at this point. And eventually this fight with Hantengu would happen. And luckily he does have quite a few people to help him out. But the main thing is he knows what version of Hantengu is what and how to actually defeat him a lot sooner, because of the connection he has with the blood pumping through the veins of Hantengu, giving him that opening, giving him that heads up to where he eventually would be able to defeat Hantengu with the help of a couple other demon slayers. But the main thing is, he's able to defeat him because of his connection with blood and his understanding of it, and he would even kind of pop some of these other versions of Hantengu, eventually leading them to facing off with the real version, or at least knowing where the real version is, the small version of Hantengu that they have to end, and luckily enough, they're able to do so. But it doesn't change the fact that this fight is a very long, drawn-out fight because of how many different versions of Hantengu they have to, for the most part, defeat or at least deal with. And with this happening, this would be the moment where Nezuko would actually conquer the sun, just like normal, conquering the sun and leading to the start of the hunt for her in terms of Muzan. But instead of really just only focusing on training, Tanjiro's training, well, it's a little different. Tanjiro's training involves his ability to bloodbend, but more importantly, the fact that, guess what? Tanjiro's ability to bloodbend is going to help them defeat Muzan in a way of actually utilizing the cure for the demons that they are creating, and also the poison that Shinobu has been creating as well. So when Tanjiro and all of them prepare, he speaks with Tamayao and also Shinobu about this idea, and he and also the Stone Hashira are going to be the ones to face off with Muzan initially. And Tanjiro is going to pump the cure through the veins of Muzan even further. And after all the training and all that stuff, eventually the face-off would happen. And when they face off with Muzan, this is when Tanjiro would turn the tables so greatly that Muzan would begin to fear for his own life, even with the sun not rising. Because he can feel the cure pumping through his veins, and it seems like it's harder for him to wear off. Tanjiro's making it so it's like impossible, literally impossible for him to kind of grow past or eliminate or kind of restore himself in any sort of way. And Tanjiro continues to make things harder and harder as, guess what, Gyome is putting the absolute pause on Muzan as we speak, and Lady Tamiya is slowing him down so greatly, getting herself basically absorbed so that the poison and all that stuff seeps into him even greater. And with all that happening, with the blood of Muzan being affected in such a way, Muzan is going closer and closer to human, and Tanjiro is holding his end of the bargain as the blood is being affected, and as all his other Demon Slayer kind of fellow Demon Slayers, there you go, my bad, fellow Demon Slayers are fighting in the Infinity Castle. They are holding Muzan here and now, making things very, very winnable at the end of the day, and Tanjiro can feel it. He can feel it. Yes, he could blow Muzan up right now, but he needs to stay focused. Because yes, he can pop him, but who's to say Muzan doesn't just regenerate from that? So he starts boiling his blood, making so that the cure and all the cure within it and all the poison within him is even more effective. 2, 3, 4 times more effective now. And it begins to make Muzan feel horrible, ill, almost like he's aging rapidly, or almost like he is feeling himself get to the point where he no longer is the immortal self he once was. And before you know it, Muzan can feel himself slipping, and he tries one last ditch effort, but Tanjiro refuses to give up, as he even makes it so he floats Muzan in the air and holds him there. And he tells Muzan that he hates the person he feels like he is when he is utilizing blood breathing. The hatred that runs wild, and the heat that makes him angry through his entire body. It makes him question the type of person he truly is. But what he does know is he would sacrifice morality. He would sacrifice his life, and he would sacrifice every single feeling in his being for Muzan to feel what his family felt that day. Uselessness. Unable to defend themselves. And frankly, at the end of the day, Muzan will not be treated the same way that his family was when they entered the afterlife. And Tanjiro tells him that he is a happy, happy person because of that. And Muzan, he has never felt this helpless in his life, in his absolute life, and eventually leads to Tanjiro holding him still, making him suffer all the way till the sun would rise, and Tanjiro would eventually get his climactic ending as he would boil over Muzan's blood and pop him to nothingness. And he watches as every piece of him would burn up in the sky and burn up from the sun, and Muzan, the king of all demons, would be defeated, and Tanjiro would collapse to the ground, barely even able to breathe. He's just trying his best to breathe, but he really can't. People would come over, try to help him, but Tanjiro tells them that he used up so much of what he had left in, well, stopping Muzan entirely. And that connection, that feeling of Muzan's blood, moving it around and doing all those things, it was fighting him the entire time. It was slicing him. It was hurting him. It was stabbing him. He could feel the power of the blood of Muzan Kibutsuji, oh my goodness, himself. Sorry about that. He can feel the power and the strength from the blood itself. And he knows that there was so much left for Muzan. Like, Muzan could have done horrible things to them all, but he would have sacrificed himself over and over again. Tanjiro would have sacrificed himself all over again to make sure that monster felt the same pain that his family felt. And Tanjiro would then pass out, and a lot of people all around would wonder, would he even wake up? Would Tanjiro Kamado even survive? But luckily enough, after days on end of waiting and just wondering, he would wake up alive, and so many people all around him would be very, very happy for it and very grateful that Tanjiro Kamado entered their lives, and they will never question ever again the name of Tanjiro Kamado and how great of a demon slayer he truly could be and truly was in this moment, allowing them to all now live peaceful lives for the rest of many generations to come. But that is the end of What If Tanjiro Was a Bloodbender. And if you enjoyed, please show some love. Leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below. All that good stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.